As a fan base or even media found out like you're the guy, the guy recently? When did you know? When did they tell you, or when was that message to you?
They haven't told me, and I'm happy they didn't, because I try to earn it every single day, and I never want that to be given to me, and it's such a privilege and opportunity to give me that chance, and I'm just going to make the most of it every single day.
Okay, Super Bowl champion Greg Jennings is here. Greg, what are your expectations for JJ and the Vikings?
My expectations?
Yeah, yours
My
specifically.
expectations is for him to come in and he looks like a rookie that sat for a year and had an injury. And so I'm going to give him grace. The expectation of fan base and media is we saw this team go 14-3. They were competing for the division title. The #1 seed. No one believes that, oh, they'll go 14-3, but we don't expect them to go down to 3rd in their division or 4th in their division just because
Vegas
of this
does.
quarterback. But that's not how the fans view it. That's not how they look at it in that locker room. And that's not really how JJ foresees it going. My #1 concern as it pertains to JJ stepping into this role as QB1, that they haven't even told him is QB1, is his willingness. He's a great guy. Like, if you've met him, which I have, like, he's just a good dude. And good guys really like to satisfy and please everybody else. And why I say this is, it can be problematic because when you have a offensive unit that is stacked with Aaron Jones in the backfield, T.J. Hockenson at tight end, Addison, Justin Jefferson, all these weapons, as a young player, you feel like, man, already have pressure going into the game, just running the offense. Now it's like I got pressure to try to get you the ball, make sure that you're good, you good too. Like, it's going to be a lot for JJ, and I think he can manage it if they just understand he's a young kid coming in. You got to bear with them. You got to have the growing pains. You got to know that they're going to happen. But I think he's going to be fine. I'm excited to see him get unlocked because as a Michigan fan, we never got to see it.
Well, that's a great point about him being a nice guy. I mean, obviously, he's going to have to get over that and hit the open man. It's easy to go in there and worry about getting it to Jefferson all the time, which can help a lot too. Right.
It is a good problem.
He's going to make a lot of great catches, but you got to play the position. Look, there's not obviously a ton of tape. I mean, Michigan offense wasn't based around him. What you did see, he's efficient, he's accurate, seems like a good leader, led them obviously to the national championship through some controversy, you know, with Harbaugh and all that stuff. He's on schedule, and those are the talents that would seem to make him a good fit for Kevin O'Connell's offense. So I'm expecting not what Darnold did last year, although I like him better than Darnold, like, going forward, but I don't think he'll do what Darnold did last year. I think he, though, can have a Bo Nix season. Like, I think he'll play well in that system with those weapons, that defense. Like, I think he can do what Bo Nix did. I'm not saying they'll make the playoffs. That division is just a monster. They might, but I think he can have a Bo Nix rookie year.
Yeah, I don't think, so this is colored by how I view Bo Nix's rookie year. If I were the Vikings, I would be disappointed if he has a Bo Nix season. Not as far as us making the playoffs or whatever, but because to me, Bo Nix's season was very Mac Jones first year in New England-ish, and I'm not saying that's the trajectory, and I'm not saying that to take a shot, but where it's like, oh, okay, the guy was pro-ready, came in, but it didn't feel like there were a bunch of extra levels. We'll see if that ends up being correct about Bo Nix. It was correct about Mac, where it's like, yes, he is seasoned, veteran, but doesn't have all this untapped potential. When you take JJ McCarthy, with his limited college experience as far as just raw pass attempts and games, and his age, you are doing it because you're like, man, he is a totally uncut diamond that eventually we're going to polish up. And so I would rather have, if I'm a Vikings fan, a more traditional rookie season of a highly drafted player, which is a few, oh man, that was awesome, and a few, what the hell were you thinking type of plays. Those are like 5 and 12 seasons. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. And the reason why I say that's going to be hard for that fan base and even the guys in that locker room to really digest, because we went into last season they went into they didn't expect Sam to play like that. Everyone that understood that Sam Darnold was going to be the starter for that team was like, oh, Sam Darnold, this team isn't going to do anything. The expectations immediately were lowered. Sam Darnold goes in and plays out of his mind, and so naturally you're looking like, well, we drafted him in the first round. We feel like he has greater potential than even Sam Darnold. So the natural expectation is going to be at least give us some semblance of what Sam was able to do with the splashes of more superhero type play.
Yeah. Oh man, we're gonna have to separate that Bo Nix whole take because I'm gonna have to do one separately for that one. First off, Bo Nix played awesome for the Denver Broncos and with limited offensive weapons for that matter. And Bo Nix did a lot. Bo Nix actually set records. Like Bo Nix actually played incredibly high level football. So if JJ McCarthy plays as good as Bo Nix did, this Vikings team will be awesome. That's just a fact. Considering what that Broncos team was and how they were able to play and how they were able to win and get to the playoffs, the Vikings roster is clearly better. And so if you're going to give the team a better roster and an equal quarterback, then your team is going to be better. So that would be huge. I mean, like that would. I don't even know. I don't even know. And then what Nick just said also didn't even really make sense to me because he's saying, "Oh, if he plays like Bo Nix, I'll be disappointed. If he has a Bo Nix season, I'll be disappointed because he didn't show that he did enough." And it's just like that's just nonsense. Bo Nix had many like awesome moments, and I'm not making this a Bo Nix clip because I'm gonna do that in a separate thing. I'm separating that one. But the point that I'm trying to drive home to Minnesota Vikings fans is that that's a home run season. And actually, you shouldn't expect him to have a Bo Nix season or a Jaden Daniels season because those quarterbacks are older. Those quarterbacks have had more time. Those quarterbacks didn't just sit out for a year. So that's my point. To say that you would be disappointed or bummed, like that makes no sense. None. I think there's going to be legitimate growing pains for JJ McCarthy. I've said that a million times. Just like I said that was going to be the case for Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. So of course I believe it's going to be like that for JJ McCarthy. I think Greg's take is very largely spot on. And there are real expectations. Who cares about necessarily the fans in this regard in terms of JJ? It's about the other players and the roster. And yeah, Justin Jefferson. And that's what I talked about. That's why there was a real conversation about potentially bringing in another actual veteran quarterback. And that's why they were like, hey, you know, JJ's our future, but like we still want another year or so with Sam Darnold. We want to try to figure out a way through this. Because there are real expectations. And this is what I was kind of saying before, right? The Justin Jeffersons of that team don't want to play rookie games. You know, they don't want to have to go through those growing pains. They don't want to have to deal with that. They're ready to win now. Winning 14 games and coming up short leaves an awful taste in your mouth, and you want to get back and be great immediately. You don't want to have an up and down season. You don't want to have an inconsistent season. You want to win, and you want to win now. So there is a lot of pressure. There's fan pressure, there's player pressure, there's management pressure. Like, yeah, the pressure for JJ McCarthy is real. He is not going into this with saying, let's just have some fun out there. That is what the Broncos had with Bo Nix, and that is what Jaden Daniels had with Washington Commanders. It's not what Caleb Williams had. Caleb Williams, they were like, bro, you're leading us to the promised land. I mean, think about when the Chicago Bears were struggling and Bo Nix and Caleb Williams was struggling. It was like, oh my God, what's wrong? Bo Nix starts off the season, doesn't look too great. No one talked about it. It was kind of like, Jaden Daniels didn't play bad, but his first couple games were hardly like these amazing games. I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But it was all hands on deck for Caleb Williams because the expectations were through the roof. There's a lot of now baked in expectations for JJ McCarthy. And to be clear, I'm not saying that the expectations caused any of these issues. I'm not saying, oh, you can't handle the pressure. I don't believe that at all. and I'm not going to ever put someone's inability to handle pressure. I'm never going to try to predict someone's inability to handle pressure. Until I see you fail under pressure, I'm not gonna predict. Like, I don't know how's JJ gonna handle. How's he gonna do with this pressure? You know, in terms of like expectation pressure, that's different, which is a separate conversation from what Greg is talking about in terms of the pressure and the responsibility that you have to get the ball to Justin Jefferson, and this, because that's now actually like, that's not necessarily pressure in the sense that we talk about pressure in terms of like that outside pressure of like, oh my God, I got to do this. This is more the pressure of like, this is part of like the actual job. This is like actually part of, you know, if you were applying to be a quarterback for a formal job, like it would be part of the job description, right? You know, make wide receivers happy, balance offense, you know, this. And so like, that is something that JJ is going to have to learn how to deal with. And he's going to have to do it when, again, expectations are high. Like he's not going, like on one side, he's going into a great situation. On the other side, he's also going into a really tough situation. Because we saw what this team is capable of doing. We saw it. And so being able to hit the ground running, yeah, there's those expectations and playing high level football. So again, it's not a matter of handling that pressure, but it's also understanding it's actually unfair to expect you to be able to just automatically hit the ground running. You have to let rookies, and for, you know, he's obviously not technically a rookie, but he is, you know, you got to let a rookie be a rookie. You got to let a boy be a boy. He's 22 years old. Just like you needed 24-year-old, 23-year-old Bo Nix and Jane Daniels. So, and I'm glad Greg started off by saying give him grace, because that's exactly what I've been saying, that you got to give him grace. Got to give him grace. So, it's going to be an interesting season. It's definitely going to be an interesting season. I think it's already absurd, like kind of the narrative sculpting of JJ, like what Nick was doing, where he's like, if you have a Bo Nix season, I'd be disappointed. It's like, all right, sure. Like, I mean, think of how, I'm going to do this in a separate clip, but I mean, if you just look, if we just go from weeks 3 onwards, we just remove his first couple games, rookie, etc., etc. I mean, he's essentially top 10 in every single category. Top 10 in completion percentage. You know, right at the cusp of being top 10, so he's 11th for passing yards. And again, it's also, this unfortunately doesn't have his rushing yards right here. Touchdowns, top 6, bottom of the list for interception, you know, for interceptions. I mean, I just, it's just so insane. Top 10 offensive rating for PFF. So if you're saying that you can have Bo Nix, or that you could have JJ McCarthy play at this level with this Minnesota Vikings team and somehow see that as a bad thing, I can't even honestly fathom that. Like how absurd of a claim that is. Top 10 in passer rating. You know, I really can't. It's crazy to think that, honestly. It would be an absolute grand slam for this team. Yeah. I got to go make that into a whole separate video about Bo Nix now, because that's just that may take the cake for the worst comment of the offseason so far. So, round of applause there for that one. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about JJ McCarthy? What do you think the expectations are for him? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.